Welcome back to Close Encounters of the Tech Kind. I'm John. We're going to have a fantastic conversation this week. We've got Mike with us.
Hey, everybody.
Jackson.
How goes it?
Definitely a fantastic conversation when you're here. And then with us, Artie.
I'm somewhere.
We're going to have a deep dive into a couple subjects here. We're going to talk about Android's going to end sideloading for us. Is that a good idea? EU is putting out a resolution on copyrighted material and training AIs. Well, stay tuned for that. Notepad. You remember the idea of, putting Copilot on Notepad to make it better? Yeah, check out this CVE. And then we've got 400 people have signed, and I shouldn't say people, like scientists, researchers, experts have said the age laws are going to be a very, very bad thing if we enact them the way that they're trying to enact them. Consequences. Let's think this through. Speaking of thinking it through, Apple has decided to challenge the Chromebook market. They've got a tiny little Mac that they're going to offer at a very competitive price to the Chromebooks. But without further ado, let's get into it. We've got sideloading. Android is trying to kill sideloading. You're all familiar with that with your iPad or iPhones, right? You can't sideload. You can.
Yeah, not really.
Slightly harder.
There's some hoops to jump through.
So if you were a developer and you're working on a thing and you don't want to have it published to the store, you would pull out your Android and you would add your app to that Android. Or let's say you're Epic Games and you're in a lawsuit and you're trying to get your product out there. Or you're in the EU and they've given you a rule saying you can't have the only store in town. Android, you must open it up to competitors. I don't know if this is a good idea, but they're trying to end sideloading.
Competitors, how?
Why are they ending sideloading? Like, what's their appeal? Other than they get money from app stores, but like, what's their public reason for doing it?
I don't have their official reason in front of me. Artie, do you have that?
I do not, but I recall something along the lines
we should have looked that up in the pre-show, but why not?
It's safer if you get it from an official channel, but at the same time,
I just saw some air quotes there, right, on safer.
Yeah.
I would kind of respond with, I have seen many apps that have been on the App Store that were not safe for the user to use. And
that'll never happen.
Oh, never.
You know
Have
what?
faith in the tech overlords.
My problem is actually that I've seen, it's not so much the apps as it is the ad sources that are programmed into the app. That the app itself is fine. It's when the ads themselves end up being potentially malicious or something, or even age inappropriate for like the game I'm playing. Like it looks like a kid's game, and the next thing I know, I'm getting this ad for some adult game. Like, what is this? Like, how's that work?
So they're saying, and I did look it up. Thanks, Jackson, for challenging the show notes here. To enhance security against malware and financial scams is their official perspective.
Start on your own app store. Holy cow.
It's the default for everything.
Well, how does it work right now for Android, right? We're talking just Android. How does it work right now to be in an Android app store?
The app store, you just open up Play Store and there you go. You can add competing Play stores.
So,
So
like,
think of it like a Git repository. Like you can go get another Git.
so
point it to that.
Samsung has like their Galaxy Store when I have a Samsung device. So I've got my choice of the Google Play Store or the Samsung Galaxy Store. Both are
Yes.
sources for apps. Okay. But they want to make it so there's one and only one.
Yes.
Mm,
Unless you go into a contractual agreement like Samsung did to get that one.
right.
But
I thought that was
but
like
it's
the
sideloading goes
whole.
away. Go
Like,
ahead.
didn't Apple just have that whole problem in the EU with these laws saying that you couldn't do that? I thought that was the whole point of the last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Google thought
I
that
mean,
looked
Apple
like fun. They wanted to try it out too. Hey, that looks like fun. Let's try that.
just got slapped
Oh.
down with and thou shalt allow competition on thy device.
Well, it's so funny because it's like that was the whole celebration. Is like, Apple, you have to be like the rest of us now, and I'm like, wait, actually, we don't want to be like this anymore. So, but to the point of, and this is what always gets me is the public statements made by the software companies, or you name it. Whenever there's something controversial like this, it's almost always under the guise of, oh, well, it's added security.
It's to protect you.
It's to protect you. And it's like, okay, the person who is already oblivious to like the security vulnerabilities that exist out there, this is not adding any more protection for them because there's already ways to get an oblivious user to download something malicious from the App Store. There is plenty of malware on the App Store. I think, like, I've seen articles, and I think we've even talked about it on this podcast of how many thousands of apps that were found to be malicious on the App Store.
I think the adage of people who live in glass houses kind of kicks in here.
Mm-hmm.
Jackson's right. There are so many people that figure out ways to break things in ways that any smart person would never think of. And I think the same goes for security. They will find ways to get themselves hacked or fraud or whatever happened to them in ways that it's just like all you have to do is follow the basics. They won't even do that. Like, I don't know. They'll still find a way to get themselves in trouble. And the rest of us will just have to pay the penalty for being locked to their app store, I guess.
Exactly.
Right. It's like a lot of the things that happen, it's like, okay, as a power user, that doesn't really help me out. Like, I know my way around. I know what I'm doing. I know the risks that I'm taking when I'm sideloading. Like, I know what that means. To grandma, who doesn't even know what sideloading means, she doesn't even know really what an app store is. Like, restricting her to the app store, like, congratulations, you've done nothing. Like, she's still just as vulnerable as she was before because there's still ways to download malicious apps through the App Store.
Well, and that said, I remember, like, for sideloading, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that setting there is a setting. You have to manually turn that on to even allow that in the first place.
Yeah, like it's
And
like
I got to think that,
process.
grandma and the 75% of other users that I know, like, they just get a phone or a tablet and I open it up, I go through the setup, I use it. There's not any of this, oh, let's see what hidden features I can unlock. And no, there's none of that. Like, so it
Right.
should be, if people are just keeping the default settings, it should be secure right off the bat. Why do we need to add more complexity and headache for other people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Mike's right. Like, there are already so many warnings, and it's like in all the experiences, I think I've done it a few times. I haven't done it with an Android phone. I'm an Apple user. Go make fun of me. I don't care. But with the Android phone, and I've done it on Apple. It's usually like a whole 3-step process. One, you have to enable it on the phone, and then it brings up all these warnings. It's like danger, danger. You're
Right.
allowing, foreign apps that aren't known. Like that alone is enough to deter anyone who doesn't know what they're doing. Like they realize, oh, okay, I shouldn't have touched that. But then it's like, oh, well, now you also have to go onto your account to be able to even sideload anything. You have to go to your account and enable it there, and then there's more warnings there. So like, I feel like there's no way that somebody accidentally stumbles upon this, and Android or Google is making this claim that, oh, we're trying to make it safer. Like, you don't need to. You're just making it so that I no longer own my device as much as I did before, in the sense that I can't put on my own custom software, something that I made. Now I have to go through your stupid app store, which is, a pain, and it doesn't even do anything.
And we're only going to give you the apps that track you.
And to that effect, what about people that are like just learning how to make an app? They don't want to have to like subscribe to the store or anything like that. They just want to make an app and test it on their own device, not proliferate
You're not
out
allowed to
there.
do that anymore. You have to be professional, serious, and actually have experience before you can sit down and learn.
Oh, so 10 years of experience for something that's only got 1 year of actual in-world production?
No. Before you sit down to learn, you have to prove that you're experienced enough to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Or
like,
heaven forbid I should say it, but certified.
Yeah.
And I'm not intending to give anybody any ideas out there.
It's the real world case of a guy that invented a coding language and was told by the interviewer that he needed 10 years of experience when he had invented it 2 years prior.
Tell us about that.
There's not much more than that.
It's too brief. It's too brief. You got to get just a little bit more.
I don't remember the name of the guy, but he had developed a coding language and was going to an interview for a job coding for them, and they demanded, I think it was actually 7 years of experience with this coding language that was, in its infancy, like 3 years old, but official release was like 2 years old. It's a prolific meme out there. With regards
so the guy himself wrote the language.
Yes.
And the interviewer didn't know belly button or hole in the ground, said you need 7 years experience on this, brand new technology that's only 2 years old.
Yeah.
And demanded that from the guy who wrote it.
The way I'd answer that is I have 100% of the experience needed for this language. I have all of it.
That's too funny.
Yeah, I remember a story, and this is going back in my memory, so it's going to be very patchy and fuzzy. But there was a conference at one point where they were debating the different shells to include in Linux, and the keynote speaker was just trashing the Korn shell, saying, "No, you can't do this, can't do this, can't do this." Somebody in the audience was asking very intelligent questions like, well, what about this feature? Oh, Korn can't do this. What about this feature? No, you can't do that. Somebody else in the audience stood up and said, okay, real quick, I want to recognize this is the creator of the Korn shell. He wrote it. He actually knows what he's talking about. Just want to get that out there because he's too meek and mild to put that out there, and totally changed the conversation after that. Moral of the story: don't trash something ever. I mean, it's like, if it's garbage, great. You don't know if the person you're talking to has had experience in writing it, unless it's the age verification laws. Then I will absolutely trash that and question the intelligence of anybody that's trying to push that stuff. Speaking of, I just use this as a jump point, if that's all right. I definitely want to keep us on track for our time. But 400 experts, industry leaders, thought leaders, people of great importance in our community have wrote to all the legislators an open letter saying, please don't do this age verification stuff. It will lead to bad things. I think that's how they phrase it in the thing. Exactly. Just bad things. Artie, did you have that article?
No, that was one that you brought up.
Okay. Man, I'm batting 1,000 on the show notes here, guys. I love it. So I don't know where the age verification is going to go, but I saw some commentary going back and forth. It's not so much what age verification does today. The brackets that they're being put in place to say you're, 13 to 15, 15 to 18, whatever. The framework that puts in is a vulnerability behind the scenes for ultimate tracking of every move on every device. Because that's the only way to really enforce it.
Yeah, I when you were just talking about that, I mean, it brings us back to the idea of we're taking the internet, which used to be open and like free for everyone to move around in, is now getting sectioned off into age groups. Which again, like some people might hear that and be like, yeah, that sounds good. Like we should protect children from sections of the internet which they shouldn't go to. And I agree with that. Yeah. There are ways to do it, but the way that it's being proposed now of forcing you to basically allow every website to track your age and know your demographics, I think that is where you're overreaching, and we're starting to overreach, I guess, and we're no longer really protecting the child because we're giving away all the information about the child to anyone on the internet. Like, it seems pretty counterintuitive.
Well, the problem is it's not apparent that that's what you have to do. I mean, it's like I said in the last one. I'm all for saving the children, but we're throwing the baby out with the bathwater on this. I mean, to shut you down there, but okay.
No, I mean, I don't know what else there's to say about it. That is pretty much what's happening. Is in an effort to just solve the problem, we're chopping the whole tree down.
So the letter is signed by 438 academia professors across 32 countries. And it's, I'll just quickly read the first paragraph. We're writing in response to worldwide initiatives to introduce age assurance technologies to implement access control to internet services. We share the concerns about the negative effects and exposure to harmful content online. So we applaud the regulators for their efforts. However, and I'm going to quickly we fear that implementing without careful consideration of the technology hazards and societal impact, the new regulations might cause more harm than good. So it's about 5 pages long, and then the signatures are an additional 22 pages. Worth the read. The idea is it's a ready, fire, aim kind of moment. Like let's do something and then fix it later. When this is almost the wrong solution for the problem.
Almost?
I mean, almost the wrong solution.
Gathering information on everybody just to keep a very small section of that group safe makes everybody unsafe. Especially when, I mean, we've talked about it many times before. The data that's collected is not secure. I mean, even in the hands of, dare I say it, our government, they get hacked too. Government entities get hacked. And I'm not talking about like you know what I'm talking about.
Fun fact: the government agency that's in charge of wiretaps just got hacked.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
I don't want to explore that one on this podcast, guys. I don't want this to get demonetized. I definitely don't want to get black bag, but yeah, no system is secure.
exactly.
I say it's almost the right solution, because if we're going to track kids and we're going to do things, it should be done with cooperation with a household, with a parent, with a guardian, with somebody who's looking after the child. And if they choose to get into that system, let them. But to
Yeah.
go the other direction and mandate it and say, you shall not pass, that's the wrong solution. So I'm saying it's a good idea to encourage companies to give that alternative. Maybe think of it like back in the 80s and 90s, restaurants had a smoking section and not smoking section. That's probably what we should be looking at here with this age verification. Of you should require people to have that option. It shouldn't be the only thing you can do.
Yeah, and I feel like once again, it's almost the same deal with like whenever Google's saying they're going to remove sideloading, saying it's for your safety. But the thing is, it still doesn't really help anything, because there's still ways to reach content that's malicious on an app store that is technically approved. The same goes for the internet. When we're talking about, okay, the law has said, okay, this domain, you have to follow these rules. You have to be making sure that you're not serving content to, you've been marked as an adult website. You can't serve content to children. Okay, it's still up to the hoster of the website to follow that. And if your goal is to be malicious on the internet, then you're just not going to follow it, and you wait to get caught by the law, and then you say, okay, whatever, you move to domains, and like nothing happens. Like, it's something that we've seen throughout history. It is far too easy for malicious actors to shift around on the internet, and they get around domain blocking. There's too many ways around it. And that's kind of the beauty of the internet, is that these types of things are possible. But then you go to that point, okay, well, let's set these age restrictions up. Okay, those who are going to follow the law get punished, and those who don't continue to do what they were already doing. So nothing really changes.
It goes with the idea that we're going to punish the outlaws by making more laws, and that's sure, but that's only when they get caught. I mean, the
right.
It's not going to stop them. It's not a deterrent.
Yeah, like when I think of my own experience as a child on the internet, and we touched on this last week, I think. The safety that I had was anonymity, and it was taught in school. Even it was taught by my parents. It was like, hey, if you see something like this is adult content. You don't go there. Like, that's the thing. If you're online, you're playing games, or you're in some chat room or whatever, these are the rules you follow. Don't give out any information about yourself. Don't do any of this. And generally, if you're a kid, you probably shouldn't be in chat rooms. Like, just don't be on there. And as long as I followed those rules, I was safe. I was far safer than I am even now, if I were to follow the same rules, because everything is now gathering data on you. And so once we tag on that age to it, it's just another piece of data that we're required to gather. And then they'll find out that that's not effective. So now they have to gather all this other data on you. And going back to when we talked about Discord, right? Discord even said, like, oh, we're going to be implementing these age verification measures. They've since backed off of that. But then when people were saying, like, oh, well, what if I can't do this and this and this? And like, oh, it's okay. We'll infer your age anyway. We already have enough information about you to do it. Like, we got to stop just giving out all of this information about ourselves, and quit trying to tag more things on, thinking that it's going to solve the problem. I think way back, 10, 15 years ago, we were all a lot safer on the internet because nobody knew who anybody was. There was no way to track somebody down.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is, and I think what they're trying to solve with these laws, and I'm not trying to take devil's advocate, but why not? Somebody does something harmful to somebody else, and it's anonymous. We've got to find a way to track them down.
Right.
So I saw, we just had a conversation with a customer where law investigators tracked down somebody who did something really heinous by they bought the tools of their crime with cash in someplace else, not the same town that they were in. And the FBI was able to get a video picture of the guy buying the tools with cash through the SKU of the tool that was left there on location. So they found all the transactions. They went backwards. I'm saying the police work can get to most of these bad actors, these harmful people online.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody will make a mistake in their OPSEC. I mean, we took down the Silk Road. Took a while, but we got him. So is it necessary to unmask everybody to make sure that everybody is doing what they're supposed to? Because a couple bad apples are ruining it for all of us. Maybe the title of this podcast should be "This is why we can't have nice things."
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting. The intent of the rules is to level and equalize the playing field. But in a lot of ways, the way I see it is that by creating rules, you actually make it unequal, because we're dealing with people who don't follow rules. So what does a rule do to people who don't follow rules anyway? I mean, they're going to go break into the bank account of somebody, and that's wire fraud or something like that. They're breaking a law that's already on the books. Wire fraud and things like that, that's already on the books. You're not supposed to do that. So what's another rule going to be to them? Oh, it's just one more thing I just have to get around before I get to what I want. I'm breaking rules anyway. I might as well go all the way. It's like, oh, darn, they put that age verification on. I guess I can't, man.
I've already broken 13 laws. What's one more?
Shucks, age verification. I'm too old to do this. Oh, or too young or whatever it is, It doesn't work that way. Lawbreakers break laws. You make more laws, just they're going to break laws.
So then I'll flip and go the other direction on this.
May I?
We saw some destruction of the function of the internet for a company that controls intellectual property of football. The broadcaster rights went to a Spanish court and said, we need to block this from ever getting out. And so they fundamentally changed DNS in Spain. They shut down Quad 9, I think it was. Artie, you remember that one?
I know which one you're talking about, but there have been a lot that have come since, and they get muddied.
Yeah. I mean, it started the floodgates here, where we're going to start changing the foundations of the internet, and it's not good, like really not good, because the internet we use is based on some very simple concepts, but it wasn't built as secure, and it was not built as a public, free, and open space that has full trackability. There's the chance of being anonymous. There's a chance of being private, and that's fine. But tracking people down, writing these laws, doesn't change the foundation of the internet. I have a feeling once we get this age verification stuff passed, and once it's in there, they're going to start going at the foundation of the internet.
It's people call it a slippery slope argument, but it's really just a foot in the door. They are trying to If they can get away with this, then they can get away with more. And we are actually seeing that happen in the UK, because at first it was supposed to be, we're doing this to protect kids. And now, we need to extend this ban to VPNs. We need to extend this ban to other things that were not related to protecting kids.
You can't use a VPN in Starbucks because save the children.
Well, no, what I'm saying, when they try to extend it to other things, they have taken it from we are trying to protect the kids to now you can't say certain political speech. Like they skipped like steps 3, 4, and 5 and went straight to censorship of political opponents. And we are seeing that unfolding right now in the UK, and they're not happy over there. The citizens, I should say.
Yeah. So let's we could stick on this for a while. I don't want to get all dark and gloomy, but I'll say that you guys have some great perspectives on this, and I appreciate that. Let's move on to something a little less dark. Notepad.
As a default
So,
white background, that's very bright.
Yeah. So Notepad it's been my go-to for the longest time to strip out all that metadata, the fonts, the styles, the bullet points, all those things that make text look the way it is. I'll copy it, paste it in Notepad. I'll copy it from Notepad and paste it somewhere else to erase all the formatting. You can also see white text or other, malformed things. So they've improved Notepad. It now lets you paste formatted text. Okay, so that's cool. I gotta tell you, the way it works, and I'll paraphrase the beginning piece. It goes through the markdown rendering sequence of all the text on the screen, and then if there's any outside links, URLs, what's the best way to process a URL, Mike?
Go visit the site.
Yeah.
See what's there. Let's open
use
that
shell
up.
execute.
Oh,
let's
wonderful.
use shell execute to run to check. And what's Notepad running at? System level permission. So, yeah. This one earned, what is it? CVE 2026-20841. It is a remote code or arbitrary code execution.
Is this a competition for Microsoft to see who can come up with the best CVE and the latest update? I mean, what the heck?
Well, I mean, I think they were creating hundreds of 0 days before AI. Now they're trying to beat that record.
I gotta think that there's a wall in the break room or something where, who's got the CVE of the week, kind of thing.
You think yours is bad? I got 9.8.
Some things should not be a competition.
Here's to Microsoft's credit. I have just opened up my own Notepad. I don't use it because of these things. It bugs me. I usually just open up everything in VS Code. It's been my go-to. But looking in the options, I was curious. There is an option. I don't know if this is brand new because of this. There's an option to turn off formatting. You can also turn off Copilot now. And there's a couple other suggestions.
Well, the formatting was when WordPad went away, and it's kind of got merged into Notepad so that Notepad could do formatted text. That's been there for a bit, I think.
See, this is an argument for keeping sideloading. I want Notepad, the OG version of Notepad.
Yeah.
Let's put that back.
So, on that
media
note,
player for that instance.
On the note, well, VLC is better than anything Microsoft has ever released, so we'll just end that argument right there.
You just lay down, no commentary, no rebuttal, and I win anyways. Goodbye.
I mean, when
Remind me to debate you a couple other things.
so with Notepad, I had to use Windows 11 for purposes, and I did not like the way Notepad functioned in Windows 11. So I went searching for, well, how can I get the old one? The old version of Notepad is still present on Windows 11 systems. You just have to find it and redirect all Notepad links to it instead of the new version. And it opens up just like it had in Windows for the previous 25 years, where it's just plain text. You can't change the font. The most that you can edit in it is the word wrap. So for anybody,
I guess that's my complaint though with Windows lately is they keep just layering on these other things on top of what is already good instead of just keeping compatibility and keeping functionality while maybe adding some features. They just layer junk on top of what was maybe already good, and then the whole thing is just a mess. Like the thing that irritates me the most is like Windows used to force people, if you wanted to change your settings, is you had to know your way around a control panel, which is a bit of a learning curve at first. And then once you figure it out, it's like, all right, fine. But then they come out with in Windows 10 is settings. Okay, and that has settings. Then half of the settings, when you click on them, it just takes you to control panel anyway. Like, well, quit layering stuff on top. Figure out how to either move everything together to a new UI if you're so, if that's what you're really trying to get at, which I think most people don't like anyway. Okay, just merge those things in. Quit layering things on top of other things, because then you get crap like this. Where like, okay, now I have to go into my settings, which will probably take me to some control panel thing anyway. And then in this applet, now I have to sign all of these files to automatically open this different version of Notepad that's old instead of the new one. Like that is what infuriates me with Windows. It started with Windows 10 and it's only gotten worse in Windows 11.
may
To
I
be
give
fair,
an
Jackson,
explanation?
Windows started as an environment, not an operating system, an environment for DOS.
So I'm going to give an example using Windows' own progression as to why they're doing these things. If you go back to Windows 7, I think Windows XP would be a better place to start. You go to the Windows games, you click on Minesweeper. It comes up with Minesweeper, 10 by 10 grid. I think it started in 7. You open it up, and now you have to connect to a server in order to play Minesweeper, Solitaire, any of the games. It got worse in 10, and now 11, you have to watch ads if you want to play these games.
Oh, you've had to watch ads in 10. I was going to say it's so you can serve you ads.
Yeah.
I'm going to use the word unsufferable. Playing games in Windows is now unsufferable.
It used to be fun.
You guys remember the pinball game?
Oh, yeah.
I missed that. Where did it go? Is it gone?
Watch Dave's Garage. He's got a whole thing on that.
Yeah. So Microsoft has a habit of keeping the tools around, just burying them. Mike, do you ever remember using Edline?
I remember using copy con redirect to my text file. So yes,
it was way easier than Edline.
Way easier than Edline, because if I only needed like 3 lines to make a quick batch file or something, that's what it was. It was copy con to whatever .bat. I make my little batch file.
So here's a pop quiz. I just looked it up, so I apologize for sounding superior with my knowledge. When was Edline removed? And just
I don't
for context,
know.
guys, this goes back to DOS. What is it? DOS
5?
2?
2? Yeah, Edline's like an old one. I was going to say actually 3.1 at first, but
I am going to guess that it was removed in like the last 3 years.
So Windows 7 32-bit still had it. 64-bit removed it.
That's fairly recent-ish.
DOS 1.0.
Wow. That's a legacy piece of
They kept it around to Windows 7. So
Mm.
For the lay people
hang on
out
to
there,
stuff.
please explain what the program did.
the text editor, isn't it?
Yeah, and like really badly written.
Like,
Like you can't go back and edit a line that you had already entered.
it's supposed to be a text editor anyway. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
It was really cool for some batch files that I was working on back in the day. I first started on DOS 3.3.
Mm-hmm.
I found Edline, and I was able to use it to generate things. I could change colors. I generated my first escape sequence using Edline, which let you put commands into the command interpreter to do special things, like move the cursor around and stuff.
Mhm.
Super cool. But Edline lets you type some text, use a special character key to do character turn, type some more text, and then you're done. To edit the file, you destroy it. You can't view what you already put, so you want to print out what you already had to then do the line by line entry again. Don't make a mistake, because that's committed to everything. If you roll things off the screen, then you're done. But I could see for DOS 1.0, it was a very powerful tool because copy console didn't exist. I don't know. Microsoft has a habit of keeping old stuff. So if the old Notepad's in there, I'm going to dig that up. I'm going to put a shortcut to it.
So I mean, I guess that's the thing is like I don't mind it. Like in fact, I think that's great. Is that we still have compatibility with these old things, but the old things still exist. Like I think that's a positive thing. The negative is that they make some new iteration. They don't merge it in with the old tool. Instead, it's just put on top of it. They kind of hide the old one, and then the new one, maybe it works, and maybe it has some command line, CVE, but now it's executing code. Like if you're going to make something new and try and make it better, I think what I'm getting at is I want the added functionality with the reliability, and I think
How-
that's where Windows
How long
absolutely
until
fails.
Notepad becomes Word?
Right?
Right?
I mean, hey, I want to put pictures in. Oh, and while we're at it, let's do tables and figures and charts. And like, wait, doesn't Word just already do that? Like, if I want formatted text, I've got a word processor. I've got Word. I've got lots of things I can use for formatted text. I just need to be able to edit a text file. It doesn't matter what the text looks like as long as I can read the text and change it. And so, yeah, it's like people are out there downloading and installing lightweight IDE programs just so they can have a basic text editor that doesn't do all the stuff that Notepad tries to do.
Text.
Yeah,
Notepad did glorious things. I've written websites using Notepad.
Sadly, I can say the same thing. It's not fun, but I've done it.
I used
Those were the days.
I haven't,
the
to be
DOS
honest, I
edit
haven't
feature.
actually, I have not liked using Notepad since probably the XP days. Just because I just did not like the interface for coding and for doing what I was doing. It just did not suit me. I want integrated development environment, or at the very least, just a very basic text editor with some powerful search and replace tools or some other things that could help with programming. And at the very least, the ability to change the size of my tabs, because 8 characters, that's a little too much for me, guys, especially in a monospaced font.
yeah. I mean, I think Linux in general has done a very good job at doing what I was talking about. Is you add functionality, but you keep the old functionality, and it doesn't break anything. It just works. Like I can't tell you how many random packages I've installed on a Linux distro that were from forever ago, but they still just work. Like there's nothing wrong with it. Like it's totally fine because it was totally fine, 10 years ago.
Well, and it's because the people who made those understood the idea of let's start with some really good planning. What is the specific purpose of this program? What's its mission? And you stick to that mission. Now you can add features that aid in that mission, but when you start layering, like you said layering stuff upon stuff upon stuff, and it's all these layers, it's because I think they get these ideas, well, we need to also have it solve this other mission and this other mission. And we're trying to we're going to end up with 15 programs that are like Swiss Army knives that all do the same thing as each other. It's like I've got Excel, I've got Word, and I've got Adobe, and I've got this, I've got that. And you know what? They actually kind of all just do the same thing.
I use Photoshop as my word editor.
Yeah. It's like,
Mike,
and then you roll in AI on top of that, and why wouldn't they all do the same thing?
I think you just actually hit on what I've been thinking about all day today, actually, is as a college student, there's all sorts of software that I have to install for some things. And just today, there was another piece of software that I had to install. I was like, man, I have to install another piece of software. And I was like, well, actually, it's fine. Like, it's a tool. It is a tool, and it's a great piece of software that does the one thing that it does very well, and that's all it does.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always held this philosophy. I hate multi-tools. I think multi-tools are the stupidest thing on the planet. And I have friends that they love their Leathermans, and nothing against Leatherman. They do make some nice things.
I'm buying you one for Christmas.
Now there is a place for the multi-tool that it's something easy to have a bunch of different functionality in one spot for the traveling guy who gets in a jam, and I just need to be able to clip something off or bend something around, or whatever it is they have to do. They can kind of get by with it's a small, not the right tool, but an effective enough tool. And I think that in the computer,
I'll die on that hill.
In computers, I think
I
it's the
agree
same
with that.
thing. I think there are some programs out there that's like, I just need this thing. It doesn't necessarily do the one thing I need it to do well, but it will do it, and it'll get me by until I can get to a position where I get the right tool for the job.
No, I agree with that.
AI. It's the multi-tool of the internet.
Oh no!
Except that it doesn't actually fit into any specific tool purpose.
Right. Go on,
Jack.
No, I think you're right. I agree with you. Multi-tools have their place when you're in it. Like, I keep multi-tools in my car. That's it. Now, because I live in an apartment, I don't have a garage, and if I had a garage that had all the space in the world, you better believe I have walls of tools that do one job very well. Because that's, I have the resources. But when I'm talking about a computer, I think the only situation where I feel like I share that same sentiment of okay, I guess I can use a multi-tool for it, is because I don't want to have to open up 6 different programs, and I want to be able to take just this one simple thing. I don't care about quality from start to finish. Then it's okay, I can see that. But in 90%, or I'll even say 95% of the cases, when you have a computer, you are in your garage. Like, you have the computer. Just install this piece of software that you need, and you don't need all this bloatware on it. So I guess I do see the point in some situations, but 95% of the time, you have the tools. Go download the piece of software that's going to do what you need it to do. And quit trying to, like Mike was saying, quit trying to make everything a multi-tool. Like, Notepad doesn't need to be like Word.
Yeah.
We liked Notepad because it was simple and it just did the one thing quite nicely.
It was not Word.
Yeah. It wasn't WordPad either.
Yeah.
It was a chisel, right? If you take the analogy of tools, Notepad was a chisel. You could do very specific things with it. It was sharp for what you were doing with it, but now we used it as blade screwdriver. Okay, now let's round off the edge and let's use it for Phillips screwdrivers. Okay, well, so let's bend it around and make it into a crescent wrench. Okay, no. It does one thing, does it well, and I miss that. I mean, just the utility of copy and paste to see what little nooks and crannies are inside the text. I have fixed so many syntax issues into code by using Notepad. I've seen, I don't know, I've just so many places where copy and paste through Notepad solves the problem.
To give my 2 cents on it, it feels like they are constantly trying to reinvent the wheel when the wheel is functional the way it is. The wheel is essentially, it's been the perfect invention for the last 6,000 years, give or take.
I've yet to see somebody make a circle any more round than it already is.
Yeah.
You're just not thinking.
I mean, really, like.
So they're trying to fix a problem that doesn't exist.
Well, speaking of fixing problems that don't exist, let's talk about AI.
Yay.
What do the overlords want now?
I shouldn't preface it with it doesn't exist, but the material it's generating doesn't exist. The U.S. Patent Office has said you can't patent it because it's not a human-produced work, whatever comes out of that AI system. So take that. But EU, Artie, you had this one, and I'm going to see if I'm batting 1,000 on this one or if I actually got one right. They have a resolution for copyright materials.
Yeah, they do.
Cool, I got one.
Yay. So the European Parliament did put forth a resolution regarding AI, and the resolution itself is to assess what, if any, damages would get given to copyright holders if an AI is trained on copyrighted material. Now, this isn't something that is a law. This is the resolution is to develop rules for disengagement. And they laid out some things like paying people for the training of the use of their materials for training purposes before the resolution gets adopted. So if you're an artist, if you're a musician and your songs were fed into a machine and you can prove it, then you would be able to get financial remuneration through EU law.
Such a hard thing to prove because we've poured all of human production into these systems. You're guaranteed that your work has been ripped off.
I think that's the point of why they're wanting to do it this way, because a lot of people are having their stuff stolen and retooled into something. And it's just, somebody's out there making tens of thousands of dollars off of somebody else's project just by retyping it into an AI or passing off artwork as their own and getting millions of hits on social media versus the person that actually developed that style, spent 20, 30 years working on that style, and now they're getting no recognition.
So I heard an interesting thought, and I want to share this before we wrap the podcast. The people that sit down with AI and they prompt it and it generates the thing, they're not creators. I think we can agree with that. That when you sit down and type a bunch of text, you're not a creator. You're commissioning the work to be done.
Yeah.
The term that I've heard for it is you are an AI slopperator.
Ooh.
I like that even better.
Slopperator. Ooh.
Smooth like
Yeah, when you put it that way, at first I didn't know if I liked where you were going with that, but when you said commission, then it's like, oh, I can get behind that. Because think about how many people commission like a work of art, a painting or something like that. They have the idea, they have a vision of what they'd like to see, but it's very broad, high level. I want
Mhm.
mountains, like, and they could even be a little more specific. Like, I want Sierra Nevada mountains, and it's the fall, and it's morning or evening or whatever it is. And that pretty much defines the extent of what they're thinking about. And it's left to the artist to then, okay, what am I painting here? How am I going to do it? And then actually executing it and using all the honed skill that artist possesses, that they've developed over years and years and years of practice and hard work and everything, to then render, hopefully, what the person has asked for. And there probably goes through some revisions. Even maybe it starts out with some sketches and some ideas, and it's like, are you thinking more of this or more of this? And they eventually narrow it down. And that's the same process with AI. Like, AI is going to come back with something, and you're going to refine that prompt a little bit. I want it more this or that, more trees, less trees, more lake, river, I don't know. And so, yeah, like I think there is a creative element in the person generating the prompt, but it is not the same level as someone who actually has the skill to execute it.
Yeah.
For some reason, my mind is going to, I believe his name was Francisco de la Goya.
Mm-hmm.
And, he would get commissioned to draw these paintings for very rich people. And one thing that you will not get from an AI prompt is some of the stuff that he would do. Like one person who was known for, or his wife was known for not being faithful. So he painted all of the kids in the picture to look like a servant at the house.
He got in trouble for that one. It was he was actually a king. Francisco de Goya. He that one almost ended his life.
But that's the kind of creativity that you will not get from entering a prompt. And it's the kind of creativity that if you go to an actual artist and speak with them and lay out what you want, they will give you what they see of your vision. And many times it will be exactly what you wanted. Sometimes it will be better. And sometimes you'll just discuss, can we get this changed?
A word on the content that these AI models are getting fed, right? Kind of a funny little story. Just the other day, I use Google Drive for some personal files. Nothing too personal, but a lot of it is actually sheet music for the piano. And the last week, every time I open up one of my PDFs for to play a song, I get these really annoying pop-ups right in the middle of the screen. They're like, "Oh, would you like Google Drive to summarize this file?" And all it is sheet music. I'm like, "What are you gonna do? Play me an overture? Like, what do you want this file for?"
Even the Adobe Reader's been doing that too. Like, I just did some hard drive wipe reports. It wiped the drive and then it generates a report. Scanned the drive and did a smart status and all that stuff and generated it and put it in the document. Well, it made the document 5 pages long. And there's some threshold in Adobe Reader. It says if it's longer than 2 or 3 pages that it considers it a long document. And so it pops up and says, "Oh, this is a long document. Do you want me to something?" Like, no. I know what's on every one of those pages. I mean, good grief. Get out of my face and just leave me alone. I don't need everything done for me. And that's maybe that's the part that's really bugging me with the AI thing, is that because so many developers are putting it into their programs, and it's like trying to be pushy and helpful in a pushy way, like, oh, let me do this for you, let me do this for you, let me do this for you. It's like, no, why don't you just sit in the corner and wait to be called upon? And I will use you
I would
if I
love to
decide
see.
I need to use you.
I would love to see, instead of an age, a savvy quotient. How savvy is the
Huh.
user? Do they need those simple reminders? Or
Yeah.
can we just accept the fact that I know what I'm doing with the computer and you don't have to tell me, oh, look, a new feature's arrived?
Mm-hmm.
Like Clippy
The
with ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
but the one thing I was gonna say though is so I thought that was funny. You know, I made a joke about it, and then I was like, well, I kind of want to see like what it would do. Like, how's it gonna summarize
So
this
what did
sheet
it
music?
do?
Well, that's the thing. I clicked on it and I was like, okay, let's see. And it goes, oh, connect your drive to John. I was like, nope, never mind. Because what it was going to do is it was going to connect my entire Google Drive to this. It wasn't just going to feed it one file. It was going to connect my entire workspace to the AI model and just feed it all that data. And I said, nope, forget it. Go kick rocks. And so I think a lot of people are falling into this trap, and they're very tricky with it. It's this thing is these large companies are getting all of those people who aren't savvy and don't know. Yeah, by the way, that's giving them everything, not just this one file. Like, congratulations, you sold away all of your private files to an AI.
The AIs, the ones I've used anyway, do have some very good OCR, optical character recognition. And so, and even just like giving it pictures and telling it to analyze a picture, is like kind of scary cool in a way, because like, oh, it did notice that. Or I'm like, and I'll ask it questions about the picture. Like, do you notice this thing over here in the corner? And it'll be like, oh yeah, that's kind of unusual that that's there, or something like that. And it's kind of scary cool, because cool that it can do that, but then scary about what that actually means when if knowing that it could be fed other types of images or pictures and be able to process that too. I mean, there was an instance where I was doing some debugging on a virtual machine or something. Anyway, I wasn't able to get a direct console connection to it so I could just copy and paste the text from it into chat, but I was able to grab screenshots of it. So I'm grabbing these bitmap image screenshots of the text, and it like treated exactly the same as if I just copy and pasted the text right away. It's like, oh, I can see here in the log file that you got a screenshot of that this and this and this is happening. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Scary, but pretty good.
We live in interesting times. It's one of those things. We're watching AI. I'm going to say it's in its toddler phase, and it's connecting to the world and making decisions for us. I remember the tantrums my toddlers would throw when they got the red cup instead of the blue cup. Those were the days. Let's hope AI grows up fast and we put the right guardrails on it. But we're out of time, so I'm going to wrap this one up. I'm going to give Jackson the last thought.
Oh, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't
That's
do
your
that.
final thought?
That's my final thought.
Don't give Jackson the last thought?
No.
Don't do that.
Oh, it's not don't give Jackson the last thought. Jackson's last thought is don't do that. I like that. We'll run with that.
I like that.
That's a good interpretation.
Well, until next time. Until next time, I'm John.
I'm Mike.
I'm Jackson.
I'm going to go vacuum.
With a Roomba, I hope. Actually, I want to get two Roombas together and like put jousting sticks on them, see who wins.
Well, if you're not careful, maybe I'll control one and remotely from my Xbox controller.
DJI versus Roomba. Stay tuned. We might actually show that. Have a good night, everybody.